vast collection of Rolex watches, including the Datejust. Rolex at Tourneau.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
The feds deliberately crash a huge jetliner in the California desert, but the test may have generated questions as well as answers about safety. It's buckle up or pull over as New Yorkers get used to the new seatbelt law. Doug Flutie gets a round of applause and the most coveted prize in college football, the Heisman Trophy. Good evening. Steve Powers is off tonight. I'm Steve Dunlop. This is the 10 o'clock Weekend News. There's more controversy tonight over the safety of children at daycare centers in our city. On Monday, the Department of Investigation will announce new guidelines telling private daycare centers what they must do about workers with criminal records. Mayor Koch revealed yesterday that random fingerprint checks had turned up 36 daycare workers with criminal records. More than 100,000 workers are due to be fingerprinted, and some politicians have denounced those checks. But others say the fingerprinting does not violate the workers' rights, it just protects the children. Chuck Curry has more.
Despite the fact that nearly half of the initial 82 private sector daycare workers were discovered from fingerprint checks to have criminal records, the union representing social service daycare workers, Congressman Major Owens and Councilwoman Ruth Messenger, have denounced the fingerprinting. Messenger says so far no child abuses have been found from the prints, that the $1 million the city is spending on fingerprinting daycare workers should be used to hire additional workers, and that the investigation would leave the children in greater jeopardy if the 36 employees with records decide to quit on Monday.
Well, these daycare employees go back to work on Monday. We understand the city doesn't have direct responsibility for firing them, but would you offer any advice to these agencies which hire these people who have been identified as having criminal activity?
Well, the rules and regulations as it relates to how you handle someone who has a criminal record, those will be sent by Commissioner McGinley of the Department of Investigation to these agencies. Now, obviously, every case has to be separately examined. There will be other crimes that relate to the care of children. We have to be particularly sensitive to that, and McGinley will lay out what the rules are.
We're going to pass a bill in this session of the Congress to see to it that the citizens are sure that their youngsters are going to be protected throughout this nation. It's not enough just to do it in the city of New York, because supposing you have one of these people who turns up, New York finds him, throws him off, he then goes across the river and works in New Jersey or works in Connecticut. We need national standards. There should be national fingerprinting. There's nothing wrong with it, and the public will best be served by that kind of protection.
The Department of Investigation is expected to come out with its new guidelines on Monday, and despite opposition from the union, Representative Owens, and also Councilwoman Messenger, it does seem apparent that the selection of daycare center workers for the private industry will never be the same again. Chuck Curry, Channel 5 News.
Chuck Curry also made a stop on Manhattan's West Side today. He found that a new law for New York motorists caught many of them with their belts down. Seat belts must be buckled around you starting today, and beginning in January, failure to do so could land you a $50 fine.
I see you're not wearing your seatbelt. This is the first day of the mandatory seatbelt rule.
I'm coming up now. Getting out from Jersey, you don't need it.
You don't have your belt on.
Oh my God, we didn't know that.
You think it makes a difference?
Oh, I'm sure it does, but that's one of my bad habits. I don't use a seatbelt as often as I should.
But sure thing, here it is.
Why?
Well, we just want to be safe. We want to get there and make sure we get back, too.
We don't want to be a candidate for the morgue.
Some motorists maintain that seatbelts themselves can be dangerous in a car crash, that they can crack your ribs while holding you back on impact. But a leading traumatologist says seatbelts still vastly improve your chances of survival.
I'd rather see someone fracture their clavicle or their ribs, rather see no injury whatsoever. But if they were going to sustain an injury, the quality of that particular injury is a lot less than injuring organs within the chest cavity, which then become unprotected because of the impact itself.
New York's seatbelt law is the first statute of its kind in the nation. Police in Brooklyn today arrested a 14-year-old boy for the brutal murder of a woman. They're still looking for a second suspect, but the death of Barbara Miller early Friday morning raises other questions. Questions about some of her neighbors at the Gowanus housing project in Brooklyn. Miller was killed and beaten outside the project for 15 minutes before she was shot twice in the face and killed. Police say there were an awful lot of people in the project who heard her screams and did nothing to help her. Police have likened the murder to that of Kitty Genovese 20 years ago. Genovese, you'll recall, was raped and stabbed to death in Queens as her neighbors stood by and did nothing. We're all fascinated with the action and drama of police work, but there's a lot more than that to actually being a police officer. Cops spend every day working with people who are in trouble or causing it. John Miller and a camera crew spent a weekend patrolling the precinct with the highest crime rate in the country, Newark's North District.
Police officers deal with danger as routinely as we brush our teeth every morning. Every time they stop a car or open a door, they literally take their lives into their hands. And if you do dangerous work like this day in and day out for years on end, you can get pretty tough. But not so tough that you stop feeling and responding and worrying. And the one thing all these cops will tell you they can't stand to see is the toll street life takes on children.
Come here, my man.
How old are you?
15.
15?
Just walking.
You've been doing all right tonight, huh?
Man, that's my money that came from work.
You can count on one hand the number of guys we've arrested that was 25 and over this year. I don't know, there's something about, I guess it's something that's not taking place in the home or what, but something is attracting them to the streets more and more. I don't care if I do know you, Adam. I'm going to lock you up. You understand? I'm going to put you away until you're 21.
If you could instill a little respect in a kid like that, 9 years old, 10 years old, when he grows up, maybe he will be not a criminal at 18 and go to school, complete school.
Was there any problems out here, son? Was there a woman out here with a weapon or anything? Threatening some kids, huh?
My weak point is kids. I've seen them mutilated and murdered and beat and all of that. And of course, I'm a father and I have kids also. And that does make me very angry. But I think the whole problem today is that what I've seen is it's not the kids, or it's everything starts in the home. And I feel that these kids that we deal with today and these teenagers and whatever, if they're not brought up properly in the home, I mean, when they hit the street, there's no hope.
Join John Miller tomorrow night at 9 for an hour-long special about the real life of big city police. It's called North District, and you can catch it right here this Sunday on Channel 5. Coming up, we'll have late details on a fire in Brooklyn Heights this evening. A crippled American ship limps back to Florida after drifting into Cuban waters. And we'll learn what the government learned today by deliberately crashing a remote jetliner in California.
Can a manufacturer or seller of clothing be liable for injuries caused by clothing fires? The answer is yes. Some clothing fabrics are dangerously flammable. Shirts, dresses, and nightgowns can burn explosively when ignited by a dropped cigarette or by a stove. The resulting burn injuries can be painful or fatal. The law requires a manufacturer to use reasonable care in selecting its materials. If manufacturers of, say, children's sleepers choose to make garments from unnecessarily flammable fabrics, they can be held responsible for burn injuries. The more you know, the better you can protect your family. At the law firm of Kramer, Dilloff, Tessel, Duffy & Moore, we want you to know the law.
An informational series presented in your interest by the law firm of Kramer, Dilloff, Tessel, Duffy & Moore.
When a neighborhood starts to die, it seems there's nothing anyone can do to save it. But that's not true. With enough caring, a neighborhood can live. Citibank knows it. And Citibank knows it takes a lot of people and a lot of hard work. For over 15 years, we've helped restore communities throughout the New York area. We provide more money for more housing than any other bank in New York. We have a commitment to this city. After all, it's our city, too.
It's your city, Citibank.
BMW presents the only form of interior decoration that ever made a luxury car perform better. Such decorations as an engine driven by microprocessors, with an electronic system that actually calculates when service is needed, and a suspension based on a design so advanced it has earned an international patent. The BMW 528e, the difference between advanced gimmickry and advanced technology.
The job of the Federal Aviation Administration is to keep our planes in the air and flying safely. Working towards that goal, the FAA today crashed a jetliner on purpose. It was the test of an anti-flame fuel additive. We have this report.
The remote-controlled four-engine jet fell from the sky heading toward what was expected to be a crash notable for its lack of flame, except for a few small fuel fires which wouldn't engulf the main part of the jet. To ensure that all the chemically treated jet fuel was spilled, a crash site was prepared to tear open the fuel tanks, and a gravel surface was laid to produce sparks to ignite the fuel. From 6 miles away in his remote-control cockpit, the pilot brought her down almost exactly right.
150. 100.
When the jet came to rest, the nose appeared to be on fire. The fireball the FAA had predicted would trail the jet had ballooned around it. It will be a while before the FAA can tell us its version of the story. They'll have to take a look at pictures shot from 3 accompanying aircraft, and they'll inspect the wreckage of the jet itself before a definitive version of the $12 million crash tests finale emerges.
The Coast Guard was towing a coastal survey ship towards Miami today after it drifted into Cuban waters and caught fire. The Seaward Explorer, carrying a crew of 5, developed engine trouble and was approached by a Cuban patrol boat, prompting the U.S. aircraft carrier Nimitz to scramble towards Cuba for a rescue. But the Coast Guard got there first. The leaders of Egypt and Jordan have agreed to coordinate a joint strategy with the PLO for peace in the Middle East. Egypt's Hosni Mubarak and Jordan's King Hussein met for nearly 2 hours in Cairo today without aids. Australian voters decided today to keep Robert Hawke in power, but they denied him the landslide that he had expected. Hawke's Labour government will return to power with only a 16-seat majority in the Australian House of Representatives. We've received late word of a fire still burning out of control at St. Anne's School in Brooklyn Heights. One firefighter has been removed to Long Island Hospital. There are reports that he has died. Fire officials say the blaze at the 8-story brick building at 127 Pierpont Street is suspicious. St. Anne's is one of the most prestigious prep schools in the country. Coming up, the weather forecast looks chilly, and we'll look at the Asia Society writing a new chapter in its history with an open house.
What do you get in a SeaWorld day? You get Shamu.
And shows.
Sharks.
And shows.
Thrills.
And shows.
Fun.
And shows.
Hugs.
And shows.
Laughs.
And shows.
Seals.
And shows.
Friends.
And shows.
SeaWorld. It just gets better.
And better.
And better.
Visit SeaWorld on your Orlando vacation.
Better.
Get a feel for cotton. The way it moves with you. The way it's soft and so inviting to the touch. You always feel confident and look great. Once you get a feel for cotton, you won't feel like anything else. Look for the True Performance label on 100% cotton sweaters. As a gift, they're a natural.
Star Anatome from Switzerland, protected by scratch-proof metal and sapphire crystal almost as hard as diamond. It is anatomically designed to fit the wrist. It will not blemish. It is a precious object of tomorrow. The new Rado Diastar Anatome.
Rado watches are available at Tourneau Corner.
AIDS continues to be New York City's #1 health crisis. City Health Commissioner Dr. David Senser says the number of AIDS cases continues to rise, an average 113 cases a month in the first half of this year, compared with 71 per month in 1983. 40% of all AIDS cases in the country were reported here in New York. Well, it was one of the best days yet for the man with the plastic heart. William Schrader's temperature is back to normal. His blood pressure is also coming down. This morning, Schrader ate breakfast with his family, listened to some country music, stood up to be weighed, and tested the battery pack for his artificial heart once again. Doctors say the portable unit worked just fine. If you have any backyard leaf raking chores left, may we suggest you finish them tomorrow morning. The afternoon looks like a washout. Here's Cindy Pickley to tell us about it. Cindy?
Thanks, Steve. That's right. We do have rain in the forecast.
Whether it comes in the afternoon or evening, we're just going to have to wait and see. But at least we'll start out with a sunny morning. I'll tell you about it in just a minute. Let's see how our evening is shaping up. Central Park, the temperature is 45 degrees Fahrenheit, 7 degrees Celsius. Relative humidity, 65%. Winds out of the west at 9 miles per hour, barometer rising. And our skies are partly cloudy at the moment right now. And we're in for a chilly night tonight, 28 in the suburbs, 35 in Midtown. And tomorrow, this high-pressure system that you see right here is going to give us another sunny day. But by the afternoon, the clouds will start to roll in, and we'll be in for some showers by the evening. And our temperatures will also be a little bit cooler. We'll be in the low 40s, whereas today we were in the low 50s. And then those of you in the northwest suburbs, when that rain does arrive, you may see some sleet. But most of us can just expect a rainy day for Sunday night, lasting into Monday, with the temperatures turning even cooler for the remainder of the week. More on that tomorrow night, but stay with us. I've got the rest of the Accuweather forecast right after this.
Vous m'en connaissez, pourtant vous connaissez ma musique. Et quand je chante, vous reconnaissez ma voix, j'espère. Mais quand je voyage en France ou ailleurs, je ne peux jamais payer avec des. Alors, pour être traité comme, j'utilise la carte American Express.
To apply for the card, pick up an application.
Carte American Express, surtout ne partez pas sans elle.
Let's look at the forecast. For tonight, it will be clear to partly cloudy with a chilly wind. Lows 28 in the suburbs, 35 for Midtown. And tomorrow morning when you wake up, it'll be a sunny day and a cool 38 in town here. And in the afternoon, the temperature will climb to 46 degrees for the high, and it will still be sunny, but we'll see the increasing clouds coming in. Then Sunday night, the rain will start and temperatures will drop to 37. Get your errands done in the morning and early afternoon tomorrow while it's still nice. Pack along an umbrella if you're going out for the evening. Have a good one. Now back to you, Steve.
Okay, Cindy, thank you. The big advantage of having a video cassette recorder at home is being able to create your own TV schedule, watch the shows you want to, when you want to. But there is a pitfall in having a VCR, and that's the topic of Marvin Kitman's commentary tonight.
So, you're planning to get a VCR videotape machine for Christmas. Welcome to the club. It's a lot of fun recording programs and watching them when you want. It's like being your own TV executive. If only the programs were as good as the recording machines. I've had a VCR for a while. I've been recording all the great movies, taking the trouble to zap out the commercials, of course. I'm getting all the Masterpiece Theater episodes, and for laughs, my favorite comedy show, McNeil Era, and Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous for serious history. But something is starting to worry me. When am I going to watch all this stuff? The problem is you have to keep taping. Every day there are new daytime soaps I missed while I was stuck at the office to keep up with the arts. Then there are the new TV movies, the classics. How do you know the Cartier Affair with Joan Collins and Michael Knightrider isn't going to be great until you see it, and then it's too late? When am I going to get the time to watch all the tapes I'm making? They're piling up on the floor of my TV den. It's like the old days when I used to buy paperback books, all the classics. I feel guilty from not reading the books. Now I'm going to feel guilty from not having the time to watch the cassettes. The solution is quit your job and spend all your time watching the shows you've taped. But then you wouldn't be able to buy any more tapes. I'm Marvin Kitman.
When we return, Tom will have all the sports action, including Army's attempt to end a 6-year losing streak in the Army-Navy game. But first, the big Lotto drawing.
Welcome to Lotto. I'm Bob Brown with Wilfredo Espada of the Bronx, who last Saturday won over $3,333,000. Tonight, you can win almost twice as much. A single first prize winner in tonight's game will win $6,555,555. Prize includes annuity interest, of course. Multiple first prize winners share the jackpot in accordance with lottery rules. Wilfredo, last Saturday when you won, the smallest number of the 6 winning numbers was number 32, and then they each got higher. How did you get to pick those strange numbers?
I picked them and I ran them.
At random? You play every Wednesday and Saturday?
Yes.
Pick your numbers at random all the time?
Yes.
$3.3 million. What are you going to do with the money?
I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to buy some barns. I'm going to do some traveling.
What would you like to do with $6.5 million? We'll find out tonight. Are you ready? Balls are in place, 1 through 44. Incidentally, there were 2 other winners who shared the fabulous $10 million jackpot with Wilfredo. The winning numbers were played in Manhattan and Suffolk County and have not yet been claimed. Get ready for a $6.5 million game. Let's play Lotto. Tonight's drawing, as always, is conducted and supervised by the New York State Lottery. Wilfredo and his wife Minerva have 2 grown sons, aged 20 and 21. First winning number tonight is number 44. 44. He's been working at the same job for the past 17 years as a machine operator. Number 6 at a ladies' belt factory. And Wilfredo wants to go on working at the job. Number 2 is the 3rd winning number tonight. Number 2. He's first going to buy a car for his eldest son, number 41, who celebrates a birthday later this month. 41. Travel, buy a home, invest in bonds, not bad. Number 33. And now to winner's share, over $6.5 million. Number 40, the 6 winning numbers in tonight's Lotto game. Here's the supplementary for our 4th prize winners. Number 7. Number 7, 1st of December. The Lotto game number is 4462 4133 40. Supplementary is 7. New York Lotto gives you 2 games for $1. You gotta be in it to win it. Thank you, Wilfredo. I'm Bob Brown. Good night.
The headlights have me paranoid.
The in-laws came to stay. The tan I got last summer has faded into gray.
Without the boots and union suits, but winter's on its way.
We need the sunshine and palm trees of Florida. Florida, when you need it bad, we've got it good. When you need it bad, up to Florida, we need it bad.
One of America's finest jewelry stores, Walter Bauman Jewelers, offers 25 to 60% off suggested retail on all the world's finest jewelry.
Save 50% on a large selection of exquisite diamond jewelry. Save 50% on 14-karat gold neck chains, earrings, and bracelets. 50% off pearl necklaces, earrings, and rings. 40 to 60% off on Seiko, Pulsar, Bulova, and many other fine watches.
Walter Bauman's a nice guy. I ought to know. I'm his daughter, Freddie.
Look for this holiday savings circular in Sunday's newspaper or at Pathmark. Get USDA Choice oven-ready rib roast, our thick 7-inch cut, only $2.29 a pound. Our specially trimmed rib steaks, only $2.49 a pound. And save up to $2 on a half gallon of Breyer's ice cream, just $1.49 with coupon.
Service Merchandise is celebrating its founder's 50th anniversary with cameras from Canon. The programmed automation of the Canon T50 35mm camera. It loads automatically. It advances automatically. It takes beautiful pictures automatically. The Canon T50 35mm camera at our low price during our founder's 50th anniversary at Service Merchandise.
They gave out the Heisman Trophy in Lower Manhattan tonight. Doug Flutie was said to have a lock on the Heisman this year. Tom McDonald is here with word on what happened at the Downtown Athletic Club. Tom?
Steve, there was never any doubt Doug Flutie would win the Heisman Trophy. His accomplishments on the football field over the past 4 years made him a shoo-in for the award, honoring the best college football player in America. The vote wasn't close. Flutie outpolled Keith Byers of Ohio State by nearly 2-1 in the balloting for the Heisman. The announcement was made here in the city at the Downtown Athletic Club.
Flutie sat with his competitors, Bernie Kosar and Keith Byers, at the Downtown Athletic Club, waiting for the announcement.
From Boston College, Doug
Flutie, who earlier in the day had thrown 3 touchdown passes in Massachusetts to beat Holy Cross, accepted congratulations from his family and then said a few words about his Boston College teammates.
I'm happy as can be, and I just wish that
my whole team and Boston College community could be here with me.
Flutie's last-second heroics against Miami with the miracle pass assured him of the Heisman Trophy and also won him quite a few fans across the country. But you have to say one thing about Flutie. He did something nobody else has done in college. He passed for more than 10,000 yards in his career. Doug Flutie is deserving of the Heisman Trophy Award. All the things I like about college football were a part of today's Army-Navy game. A lot of marching music, enthusiastic fans, 2 evenly matched football teams, a lot of tradition, a running team against a passing team. It was all there as the Army lined up against the Navy. I'm glad they moved the Army-Navy game back to Philadelphia where it belongs, the long gray line of cadets. The midshipmen of the Naval Academy. Army hadn't beaten Navy since 1977. Army's quarterback, Nate Sassaman, had a great football game. He was a defensive back last year. On the opening drive, Army ran the ball 15 times, threw it once, and they got into the end zone. Clarence Jones goes wide. Army on top 7-0. The cadets never trailed in the game. They shot the cannon off. Sassaman's ground game was just too much for the Naval Academy. This touchdown run here made it 21-3. Army went on, beating the Naval Academy 28-11. Football fans down south will talk about today's Auburn-Alabama game for many years to come. Here's the situation. Auburn needed a victory over their state rival to go to the Sugar Bowl. Late in the 4th quarter, Auburn, trailing Alabama by 2 points, had the ball, 4th and goal. Think he's going to go for a field goal, put his team in front? No. Surprisingly, Pat Dye calls for a pitch out, try and get a touchdown. It went nowhere. Auburn stacked it up. Pat Dye later claimed that his running backs went the wrong way, but he should have gone for the field goal. Auburn fans were absolutely down, while the Alabama fans were ecstatic. It's been a tough season for Alabama. Auburn with a chance to win the game late. Field goal not even close. Alabama and Coach Ray Perkins upset Auburn, costing Auburn a trip to the Sugar Bowl. Robert McGinty couldn't believe he missed the kick. On the scoreboard, if Houston beats Rice tonight, they'll go to the Cotton Bowl. Houston leads by 8. They're in the 3rd quarter. Texas A&M in a bit of a surprise, easily over Texas, 30-6 in the 4th. In the battle for Florida, Florida the better team today, beat Florida State 27-17. Georgia Tech with a rare victory, beat them Dogs 35-18. Last night, the Rangers blew a 2-goal lead late in the game and had to settle for a tie with Toronto. Tonight, the Rangers had a chance to redeem themselves in a rematch with the Maple Leafs, who sport the worst record in the NHL. In the opening period, the Rangers got the only goal scored. Bob Brook, watch him at the bottom of your screen, tips in a shot. Rangers lead 1-0 after 1. Bobby Brook scored his 3rd goal of the season in the 2nd period to put the Rangers up 2-0. Booming slap shot. The Yale alumnus was all smiles. Good 2nd period for the Rangers. They led 4-0 after 2 periods, thanks in part to their goalie, John Van Beesbrook, who played well. They're in the 3rd right now, and the Rangers lead by a count of 4-1. This afternoon, the New Jersey Devils' 3-game winning streak snapped. Blackhawks beat the Devils 5-3. The Knicks, playing without Bernard King and Bill Cartwright, had 2 chances of beating the Portland Trail Blazers tonight. Slim and none. Without King, the Knicks didn't have a chance against Portland. Clyde Drexler put on a good show for the Trailblazers. On this play, he blocked a shot, hustled down court, and finished off the fast break. Drexler was also a tiger off the backboards. He'll garner the missed shot here, go outside, hit a jump shot. Clyde the Glide Drexler, who played his college ball at Houston, scored 25 tonight for the Trailblazers. It was a laugher. Portland led it all the way. Drexler will score again here. Portland, final score, beating the Knicks 115-93. Clyde the Glide finishes it off. Rough night for the Knicks at home. A major surprise in boxing today. Heavyweight Greg Page, who had lost his last 2 fights, scored a stunning knockout of the WBA champion Harry Coetzee in the 8th round. Page had decked Coetzee in the 7th with a straight right hand, and then put him away in the 8th with a left, a right, and a left that knocked Coetzee unconscious for a couple of minutes. Greg Page, the new WBA heavyweight champion. And that's our sports report for tonight. I'm Tom McDonald. Here once again is Steve.
Thank you, Tom. Westerners have often regarded the culture of Asia as somewhat mysterious, but today, the Asia Society on Park Avenue in Manhattan helped to unravel that mystery a bit. For the first time in 30 years, the Society held an open house free to the public. One of the main attractions was a calligrapher who demonstrated how the ancient art developed in Japan. We can't tell you what he's writing, but his wife probably hopes it isn't a Christmas list. That's our report for now. Black News is next with Bill McCrary. I'm Steve Dunlop. Have a good evening.